This is chapter 5.4, Properties of Logs Notes. We are going to learn 3 different properties today and then have one more section to do some simplifying and throwing it all together. So the first property we're going to learn about is the product property. The product property says that if there is multiplication in the argument of a logarithm, that can be split into addition. You will add 2 different logs together. So they're going to ask you to do 2 different things in this lesson. They will ask you to either expand or condense. So depending on what it asks you, depends on which way you're going. So if you're expanding, you're taking one logarithm and expanding it into 2. If you are condensing, you're going to take these 2 logarithms and smush them into 1. So that's condensing. The one thing that I want to point out to you is that this is not, if there is addition in the argument, you cannot split logs up with addition in the argument. Multiplication splits into addition, and we'll learn about division and subtraction and powers later. So multiplication splits into addition. You cannot do this if it's addition in the argument. So let's look at example 1 here. I've just gone through and I've labeled all of them in order. You don't have to do that. It just makes things a little easier for me. So first example, log base 2 of 6x. You can expand this into 2 different logarithms, which will help us in our next lesson, which is solving logarithmic equations. So expanding this is multiplication in the argument. So that means you can expand this into 2 logs that are added together. So log base 2, the base still stays the same, of 6 plus log base 2 of x. That's it. That's all they're asking you to do. The other thing that you need to consider is this. Can I reduce this? Well, remember, logarithm asks you what power is it that you raise the base to get the x, or to get the argument. So 2 to what power equals 6? None. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. So there isn't any power that you raise 2 to get 6, but you do need to ask yourself that. This is completely reduced. Next one, log base 7 of 3 times x times y. Now, technically there is 3 different things multiplied here. So this is just going to break up into 3 separate logarithms. This gives you log base 7 of 3 plus, because multiplication splits up into addition, log base 7 of x plus log base 7 of y. Your turn. Try this with number 3. Hopefully you got that right. Moving on to condensing. Now we're going backwards. You're given 2 logs and you're going to smush them together into 1. Now, another key thing that we have to look at here is that the bases have to be the same. If the bases are not the same, you cannot combine them, period, ever. Okay, so combining these, there's addition. Addition smushes together as multiplication in the argument. This gives me log base 3 of, so I'm going to put parentheses here, but you take your 2 different arguments and you multiply them. 4 times a, or log base 3 of 4a. The next one is the exact same thing. You have addition of logarithms. Addition of logarithms smushes together as multiplication in the argument. So this ends up being, now remember, if there's no base, it's an understood 10. So this is really log base 10 of 5 times 10 times x. And if you do your multiplication, this is log of 5 times 10 is 50x. Now we kind of have to check to make sure that the 50 portion of this we can't reduce, and we can't because 10 to no power equals 50. Let's look at the last one. Is this number 6 is going to be your turn, so go ahead and try this now.